When Jeffrey Reddick was trying to break into the Hollywood system, a friend gave him some advice. Write a script for a TV show to prove that you can capture the characters' voices. Reddick drew inspiration from a real-life tragedy and wrote an episode of The X-Files. But while the script did not get made as an episode, it did get attention. X-Files head writer Glenn Morgan and X-Files director James Wong took the script and made it full length. The result became Final Destination. On a class trip to France, senior Alex Browning has a premonition that the plane will explode just after takeoff. He and six others manage to escape the aircraft, which then does explode. A month later, the survivors start dying in increasingly intricate ways. So it was 2002, and my mom and I were at Walgreens, and I was rummaging through the discount VHS bin. I found Final Destination, and I knew nothing about the movie, but it said horror on it, and it was like $5. So I convinced my mom to buy it, went home, watched it, having no idea what this movie was about, and I instantly fell in love with it. The film stars hot, new talent like Devon Sawa as Alex Browning, Ali Larter as Clear Rivers, and some reliable favorites. Tony Todd makes a cameo as a mortician who knows more than he's willing to let on. One of the things that really makes this work for me is that the teenagers feel like teenagers. This is a post-Scream world, and horror is having its renaissance where characters have to be smarter. They have to act like real people. It's something that didn't really happen in the 70s and 80s. Really took over the late 90s and early 2000s. Studios wanted Scream. They wanted their next teen horror movie to appeal to the demographic that made Scream so successful. Alex sees things, and while other characters may not immediately be on his side, once they start to realize that he's telling the truth, they don't stay in denial for very long.
Death is not the end.
I have never seen a Hare Krishna at an airport. Or in real life. 13 minutes in, and the plane takes off. It's a tense scene, and it sticks in my head anytime I have to fly anywhere. By this point, the film has given us enough of the characters that we know their personality types, and we know how they relate to each other, at least on a basic level. We know that Alex's best friend is named Todd. We know that Clear is the weird artsy kid. We know that Carter's a dick. And we will repeat that Carter is a dick a lot throughout this. We know Terry is Carter's girlfriend and that Valerie Luton is their French teacher. Oh, that is such a good burn effect. A lot of love went into this as far as planting seeds and foreshadowing. You can see a bus behind Terry Chaney in this scene. Watch how the plane goes across Sean William Scott's face. This all pays off. You can't talk about this franchise without talking about how characters share names with filmmakers. Alex Browning and Todd Wagner are named after Todd Browning, who directed Freaks and Dracula with Bela Lugosi. Todd's brother George shares the exact same name as a filmmaker, George Wagner. Terry Chaney, her last name is obviously a reference to Lon Chaney Jr. Val Luton is the same name as the producer of Body Snatcher and Cat People. Even the FBI character, Agent Shrek, shares the same name as the actor who played Count Orlok in the original Nosferatu. And then, of course, there's Billy Hitchcock. I don't know who he's named after. Another trademark of the franchise is the number 180. In addition to being the flight number that Alex and the gang are on, it pops up again, forwards, backwards, sideways, all throughout this franchise. It can also be a reference to the fact that Alex and the group did a 180 and turned around to avoid death. Oh, yeah, that's an idea for a monument for people who died in a plane crash. A giant bird. The film was subject to studio meddling. They shot and then deleted a love subplot between Clear and Alex. The ending also had to be reshot because once they deleted the subplot, it made no sense to end the movie with her giving birth to Alex's baby. I think the reshot ending works a lot better. The ending also set up a new rule for death and a hook for a sequel.
I told you were next. And it just skipped me. So who's next?
Something that I've always loved about this franchise is the idea that death has a plan. Death has a list, and if you're on that list, nothing you do will take you off of it. I like the idea that if you manage to cheat death, you're just going to piss it off and make it worse for you.
And you don't even want to fuck with that, Mac Daddy.
This was my intro to Tony Todd. To me, when I watched it at age 12, he was just an actor in a role. I didn't know him from anything else. And as I grew as a horror fan, I began to recognize him, but I also respected the fact that he never half-assed a role. He always showed up, he did the work, and he always put in a great performance. A few years ago, for my birthday, one of my friends came over and we watched Candyman. And I told her, you're going to recognize his voice. And if you don't recognize his voice, you're gonna fall in love with his voice.
I'll see you soon.
The movie does have its faults. I think the link between the premonition and the order that the characters die in is meh. You find out that they're dying in the order they would have on the plane, which is a great concept, except it's a plane crash, and we don't see them individually die in the premonition. This is something that the sequels would later capitalize on and do right. In hindsight, with regards to this as a franchise, the first kill has death trying to cover its tracks, and it doesn't work in regards to the franchise. But as a standalone watch, I'm fine with it. It's just something that, I mean, look at that. That's a creepy shot. I do wish that all of the survivors who are still alive were involved in the third act. You reach a point and a character disappears to pop up again in the reshot ending. And it's just kind of one of those, the movie forgets about him. With a budget of $23 million, the film made $51 million in the US. However, it made $115 million globally. This was a smash hit, and New Line knew they wanted a sequel, but they were smart. They didn't want to go the route of a lot of slashers and just pump out a sequel. They took their time. A sequel would eventually come out in 2003. You better believe that my ass was hyped when I saw the trailer in front of Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers.
You fucking prick! Oh shit!
I adore this movie. It's led to many discussions amongst friends of what would you do if you were in this situation? If you had a premonition and knew you were in a Final Destination situation. Death can't be beaten. And even Alex admits it in this movie.
I could beat you. Yeah, maybe not forever. But I got this cabin rigged to beat you now.
You can only stop it for so long. This movie, you don't know if death is going to be slow and deliberate and plan things out, or if it's going to be quick and sudden. It's a great way to keep the audience on their toes. You never know what you're getting until you watch it.
And you can just drop fucking dead.
Like Saw or Friday the 13th, you walk into these going, okay, cool. Who's dying and how? I'm here for it. And it's always entertaining. This is one of the few franchises, too, that you may not be scared when you're watching it, but for a week afterwards, you're going to be paranoid about everything around you. It's a great time. I rewatched the entire franchise about 2 months ago before going to see the sixth movie in theaters. And when I decided to do this, there was no part of me that was like, oh, I gotta watch that again. I instantly pulled out the Blu-ray and was like, fuck yeah, let's go. I also think that speaks highly of the quality of the film. So, if you haven't seen Final Destination, get on it.